Coming up on the NFL Today.
Between Matthew Stafford's impressive play and the success of their bend but don't break defense, the Lions are headed toward their first ever NFC North title.
Goes to the end zone! Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
After Thursday night's win over Oakland, Kansas City is #1 in the AFC West. But with the Raiders and defending champion Broncos on their heels, the race to the top is still up for grabs. A lot is riding on tonight's big NFC East showdown between the G-Men and Cowboys. And if recent history is any guide, the outcome will likely rest on the arms and legs of some impressive rookies.
You're watching the NFL Today on CBS.
The NFL Today on CBS Sports is presented by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency.
Playoff game in 25 years. But quarterback Matthew Stafford having an MVP type of season for the North Division leaders. And this could turn out to be the season they finally roar. So let's have our Detroit native, Bart Scott, lead us through this week's edition of the NFL Before Today.
Detroit City is one of the finest in this world.
Detroit, the Motor City, my hometown, and the unluckiest city in the NFL. Sure, we've got NBA titles, World Series wins, Stanley Cups. But the closest Detroit has ever been to the Super Bowl was when we hosted it.
Steelers come to Detroit with a job well done.
Hey, I know that guy. Detroit's a town so tough, our civic symbol is a fist. But when it comes to football, it might as well be punching the Lions right in the face. Yeah, the Lions have had talent. Bobby Lane, Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson. But they once lost a playoff game 5-0. 5-0! Went 0-16 and had a head coach win the coin toss in overtime and choose to kick off. And that was back when we had sudden death. And oh yeah, this happened.
The ruling on the field stands. It is an incomplete pass.
So that's why I think this is the Lions' year. Not only do they have the skill, they've got all the luck. 7 out of their 8 wins have come with Detroit behind in the fourth quarter.
This game is over!
And instead of coming up snake eyes, it's coming out smelling like roses.
JB, when you retire as a player, you go back to your childhood team. It was the Detroit Lions for me. And so happy for that fan base who had to endure a lot. The Matt Millen years were tough for us in Detroit. And finally to turn that corner and seem like they have a team that's built for the future. You know, my father's at home smiling right now. He's happy.
Barry Sanders could make a 5-yard run, the most exciting run in the league, though. Thank you, Bart. No question about it. All right, folks, time now to turn to the pregame HQ delivered by Domino's. Stafford has been steady throughout this season, but the Lions' D has suddenly stepped up of late. Over the last 6 games, they've allowed 9 fewer points per game to their opponents, resulting in 5 wins. So the question is, what are the key factors that have led to the surging D in Motown?
Oh, thank you for that trip down memory lane, Bart. I appreciate that one. When you look at the defense of the Detroit Lions, yes, their last 6 games, no opponent, over 20 points. And I love what Terrell Austin is doing with this defense. When you look at him on tape, what he's done is been creative in his pass rush. Right now, they're doing things right now with deception. They have the look of one, dropping others back. But the most important thing with this is you got a man free and you're coordinated with rush, and you're coordinated with coverage right there. So you see him stop at the 3rd down. Then they disguise. Watch Darius Slay down here. Make it look like man-to-man. A quick twirl turns into a trap defense. Sam Bradford does not see it. He throws it to Darius Slay. Another 4th quarter comeback for the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving Day. But the one thing I love about that Terrell Austin defense has been the effort and relentless pursuit you have. Here you see him lined up. It's a 3rd down against the Washington Redskins and Kirk Cousins. When a ball is thrown, what you see is everybody running to the football. Pursuit, relentlessness. Right there, you have 9 people in the picture. These guys fly around. They're coordinated. I love the energy with which they play. Offense, they got Stafford. They've got an offense, but they got a team defense. Terrell Austin should be up for the next head coaching vacancy when there is one. But the question I have to you guys, Is this the best team in the NFC North, or do you think the Green Bay Packers can still overcome it?
Well, here's the deal. Donald Trump won the presidency. The Chicago Cubs won the World Series. And Army beat Navy. So maybe it is Detroit's year. But take a look at these schedules, guys. There's one person that may derail Detroit, and it may be in Week 17, and it may be in Detroit, and that one person is Aaron Rodgers. As Aaron Rodgers said a couple weeks ago, don't panic. We can win out, and certainly they can, especially with the way that he's playing as of late.
I don't think so, Boom. I think this team, all they have to do is win one, maybe 2 games. It's tough sledding for Green Bay starting today against Seattle Seahawks. That's going to be a tough nugget to go. And then at the end of the season, they face the Detroit Lions. This team is battle-tested.
Yeah, well, you know what? Going up to Green Bay, you hit the nail right on the head. You're talking about the wizard, Mr. R-E-L-A-X. Aaron Rodgers has been playing out of his mind.
You got a fat head of Aaron Rodgers in your bedroom, I know.
Because I love this guy, because he's playing such good football right now. And remember, the weather up in Green Bay, it's frightful, okay? It's that time of year. It's snowing and blizzards. I believe Aaron Rodgers in this environment at home, he said he has to run the table. I'm getting on the Packers bandwagon, and I'm saying they're going to be able to do it.
Spoken like a true Californian. It's frightful. It's frightful.
Football weather, JB. I know it's not frightful. It's football weather.
You need a running game in football weather.
And a reminder, Week 15 in the league begins with Thursday Night Football, featuring an NFC West matchup between the LA Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. That comes your way at 8:15 p.m. Eastern. Then it's a special Saturday edition of Thursday Night Football as the Dolphins face the Jets at 8:15 Eastern on NFL Network. Now, with game time fast approaching, time now to set the scene at your game as we take you out first on the field for the latest news and updates on your matchup.
All right, JB, a look inside Ford Field towards downtown Detroit. Snowy lake conditions here a couple of weeks away from Christmas as they are getting into the holiday spirit, and we are getting ready for the Detroit Lions and the Chicago Bears. Welcome inside the booth alongside Solomon Wilcots. I'm Spiro Ditas. So, Solomon, here we go. Detroit and the Bears. Last time these two teams met, Week 4, a game won by Chicago 17-14. So much has changed. Detroit's season has turned around, and they've got a healthy 2-game lead in the division.
And it all starts with their head coach, Jim Caldwell. He's put together a team that plays complementary football. They have the fewest turnovers of any team in the National Football League. They play great on special teams and great fundamentals on the defensive side of the ball, where they miss the fewest tackles of any defense in the NFL. And of course, they put it on the shoulders of their talented quarterback, Matthew Stafford, who's playing at a tremendously high level. He told us that he has 95% of the playbook to use at his disposal at the line of scrimmage. That's why he has now 7 fourth-quarter come-from-behind wins. The defense has got it done as well. Glover Quinn, he's like the quarterback on the defensive side of the ball. Plays with a tremendously high football IQ, great awareness on defense.
Well, meantime, it's been a long season for John Fox here in Chicago with the Bears, a team that enters the day just 3-9. They did get back in the win column last week in snowy, blizzard-like conditions at Soldier Field, a big win over San Francisco. And today, Matt Barkley set to make his 3rd straight start, first time as a road starter in the NFL, and he's been very good and very economical with his production over his first couple of starts. And all eyes continue to be on their rookie running back, Jordan Howard, who has taken the league by storm. Certainly one of the few bright spots for the Bears in a season of mounting injuries and mounting losses. And so the Bears and the Lions coming up at the top of the hour. We will get you back to the NFL today right after this.
NFL Today on CBS Sports is presented by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency.
And welcome back to the NFL Today. Right now, the Bears and Lions are getting set for their matchup. And as we approach kickoff, let's send you out live to Detroit with our announcers, Spiro Ditas and Solomon Wilcots. Gentlemen.
All right, JB, outside Ford Field, that snow continues to come down. Inside the stadium, we're nice and toasty as we get you set for the Detroit Lions and the Chicago Bears in an old-fashioned NFC North Division battle. A look at the updated standings. The Lions, a team that has not won a division title in 22 seasons. A healthy 2-game lead at 8-4 and winners of 7 of their last 8. The Bears rounding out the basement at 3-9. A look at the updated NFC postseason picture. You see where the Lions sit with just 4 regular season weeks left. 2 games up on both Minnesota and Green Bay as they get set to take on the Chicago Bears. Hi, everyone. A couple of weeks away from Christmas. We welcome you to downtown Detroit alongside Solomon Wilcots. I'm Spiro Dita. So much has changed for both of these teams. The last time they met at Soldier Field back in Week 4, a 3-point win for the Bears. But as I mentioned, the Lions a healthy 2-game lead in the division as they get set for the final quarter of the year.
Yeah, Spiro, you know, the Chicago Bears, they may struggle to win games, but they certainly know how to compete. And no one knows that better than the Detroit Lions because they lost to these Chicago Bears back in Week 4.
Well, for Detroit, the major headline of this season, of course, has been Matthew Stafford. In his 8th year in the league and at the age of 28, he has put it all together. Career-like numbers. He's never been better, and he has been on an incredible stretch during this 7-1 run. You see the touchdown-to-interception ratio, just 5 picks that he has thrown all season. And Solomon, he has spread the wealth amongst that wide receiving corps.
I think the Lions have the complete package of wide receivers surrounding their quarterback, Matthew Stafford. And it starts with Golden Tate. He leads all wide receivers in the NFL with yards after the catch, helps to supplement the run game. Anquan Bolden kind of serves as a tight end in this offense. He leads the team in touchdown receptions. And Marvin Jones has the speed to stretch the field to open it up for all the other wide receivers. Now, the Lions play complementary football. That means their defense is good enough to go down to New Orleans and shut out Drew Brees and end his 60-game streak with a touchdown pass at home. And then 3 interceptions against Drew Brees. This defense, they keep you out of the end zone. They've not allowed 20 points or more in each of their last 6 games. In fact, they've done that 8 times so far this year, more than any defense in the NFL.
Well, meantime, for John Fox and the Chicago Bears, it's been a long season. Injuries have been a major storyline for this club. 11 of their 22 opening day starters either injured or suspended as they sit in 3-9 and closing in on a 6th consecutive season of missing the NFL playoffs. So what do the Bears fans have to look forward to? Certain positions, and Matt Barkley getting set for his 3rd career start. This will be his first role start as an NFL quarterback. Probably should be 2-0 if Josh Bellamy catches that routine touchdown at the end of that Week 12 game against Tennessee. They did get back in the win column last week in blizzard-like conditions, knocking off the Niners at Soldier Field, but all eyes have been on this rookie revelation at the running back position, Solomon Jordan Howard.
Well, Howard is that big back that will beat up your defense. He gets better as the game goes on. 5 games with over 100 yards or more rushing, tied for most in the National Football League, and then 4.8 yards per carry. I think it's proof positive to just the kind of running back he is.
How about our tools for success presented by Home Depot?
Well, how about Chicago Bears outside linebacker Leonard Floyd? He's coming off a 2-sack performance last week against the San Francisco 49ers. He has 7 sacks on the season, and they need that kind of performance from him here today. Now, Joyke Bell, he's a running back that was signed by the Lions on Tuesday. He's going to replace Theo Riddick as a 3rd down back here today. For the Bears, they've got to be able to sustain pressure on the quarterback, Matthew Stafford. And then for the Detroit Lions, that defense has to be able to contain and tackle the powerful running back, Jordan Howard.
There is a buzz around this Lions team here in Detroit as the first-place Lions gear up to take on their old foes from the Windy City. Lions-Bears starting lineup and the opening kick coming up. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Monday.
Merry Christmas!
A very Kevin Christmas the whole family will fall for. A new Kevin Can Wait. Then, a Blizzard gas station gifts. What will Santa bring?
Pool toy for Emmy, but it says Trucker's Hemorrhoid Ring.
Man with a Plan. After Kevin Can Wait. Both shows are new. CBS this Monday.
Ho, ho, ho to you, too.
In downtown Detroit, Michigan, it's the NFL on CBS. Today, a Week 14 battle in the NFC North between the Bears and the Lions. And today's game being broadcast in Spanish, where available using the SAP button on your television.
Presenting the Subway Fresh Buns. Served to you by Subway Restaurants.
We are an unstoppable force, but we got to do it together.
Last week, the Steelers defeated the Giants with Ben Roethlisberger throwing for nearly 300 yards and 2 scores. Led by linebacker James Harrison and safety Sean Davis, Pittsburgh's defense had 2 sacks and 2 interceptions as the Steelers won their 3rd straight to stay in the race for the AFC North.
CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Inside the 45, a pickup of only a yard, and this is the big one coming up here, 3rd and 9, as we come up on the final 9 minutes.
What do you do here? I mean, the receivers have gotten open. You know, Coach Fox talked about the young receivers, Cameron Meredith, Josh Bellamy. They're running good routes. The ball's coming out of the hand in a timely manner and an accurate manner from the quarterback, Matt Barkley. So you try to isolate one of those 2 receivers and see which one can make a play.
Third and 9. Barkley escapes initially, but sacked. Hyder getting there for the Lions. Right now down 4, 2nd and goal. Stafford under pressure, gonna tuck it away and run for it inside the 5, and he's in for the Lions. Touchdown. Detroit back in front.
You know, it's not as pretty as a Cam Newton or some of the other running quarterbacks around the NFL, but you just love the grit and poise of Matthew Stafford. Watch, all his receivers are going to be covered. Wants to go to his left, nowhere to go there. Under pressure. Now watch him attack the line of scrimmage, and now he attacks the goal line. I saw him make plays like this, Spiro, during his rookie campaign with a dislocated shoulder. He brought his team from behind in a win against Cleveland. And from then on, he owned the town, he owned the team, and everyone knew he could come back in the 4th quarter.
Can't question Stafford's grit and toughness. First rushing touchdown of the season and a 13th of his 8-year career. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Fox and the Bears trying to play spoiler. Lions 8-4, 2 games up in the division. Trying to close in on what would be their first division title in 22 years. Barkley's pass is caught. Meredith still on his feet. Meredith inside the 20. Meredith to the 15-yard line. Darius Slay forced him out of bounds. 27 yards, and it's coming back.
Still first down.
Wow. Big time play, but they're going to get a holding on number 72, Charles Leno. He's going to be the left tackle. Take a look right there. Working against Ziggy Ansah. There's your hold right there. Near takedown. But what a play in the passing game. These receivers, they're young. They get open. They make plays. They may drop 1 or 2. But boy, this young team for John Fox, they continue to fight.
That is a killer 27-yard pass play negated, and you saw Chicago 129 penalty yards against them. 48 seconds left. 1st and 20. Barkley throws a dart, and it is caught.
What a play.
Daniel Braverman, the 7th-round rookie out of Western Michigan. Another flag is thrown.
Holding, number 62, offense.
Unbelievable.
10-yard penalty, still first down.
Every way possible. Whether it's receivers dropping passes or offensive linemen like Larson getting a holding call on a great pass play. Here he is at the right guard position against Haloti Ngata. Passes him off, and then right here. Yeah, that's just every time. You got to block and trust that your quarterback, Matt Barkley, is going to get rid of it every single time. You do the best you can to block and stay in front of them, but once they get past you, you have to let them go.
Bears right now going in the wrong direction. 1st and 30. This is Brown again. The first down is all the way up at the Detroit 33-yard line. Connor Barth again, the target line for them right around the Detroit 40. His career long, as I mentioned, 57 yards. That was back in 2011.
Both of those previous passes by Bellamy as well as Braverman would have put them in field goal range. It's incredible. Comes right back off because of holding penalties.
Where do they go on 2nd and 25? Barkley's pass a bit high and incomplete. No flag. That Bears sideline chirping. Deontay Thompson was covered by Lawson on the play.
You can see the tight coverage intended for Thompson. Lawson kind of stumbles there. Looked like there was a collision. Look at that right there. See, he's grabbing hold of him prior to the arrival of the ball. You know, you can't judge, okay, how much did he interfere? If there's contact on the receiver before the arrival of the ball, that's pass interference.
3rd and 25. Barkley's pass is caught. That's Meredith breaking a couple of tackles. Brought down right around the 47, a pickup of 14. And now it looks like a timeout has been taken by the Bears, with a 4th and 11 coming up and 18 seconds left in a 3-point game. Another reminder to keep it here. Coming up, the Subway postgame show. JB and the fellas standing by in our New York studios. A busy week 14 around the NFL as the playoff picture starts to come together in both conferences. And Solomon, it's the biggest play call of the day coming up for the Bears on a 4th and 11.
Well, the fact that they do have one timeout, they can attack over the middle of the field because they're attacking the linebacker, number 57, Josh Bynes. Just watch him because he's not able to match up and help his corners on any of those crossing routes over the middle of the field. As long as the protection holds up, they're getting receivers open over the middle of the field, and if they do so, they have a timeout left to stop the clock.
Barkley's pass up the middle is deflected. What's the call here? They say incomplete, and it will be a turnover on downs. It was Bellamy trying to go airborne for the catch. And a Lion.
Wow, we've seen this before from the Bears just 2 weeks ago against the Titans.
So Bears team down to their 3rd different starting quarterback. An incredibly thin wide receiving core. Will fall to 3-10 on the season. Meantime, the Detroit Lions survive as they move to 8-1 in their last 9 games. They've won 5 straight. Updated look at the NFC playoff picture. Detroit now moves to 9-4 for Seattle and Green Bay coming up later this afternoon. So the final score, the Lions over the Bears, 20-17. Now for Solomon Wilcott, Spiro Dita saying so long from Detroit. Coming up next, the Subway postgame show will bring you back to New York right after this on CBS.
CBS Sports presents the Geico Play of the Day.
Trailing by 6 points in the 3rd quarter, Redskins quarterback Kirk Cousins looks deep, real deep, and finds Deshaun Jackson, who makes the Willie Mays over-the-shoulder grab. He goes 80 yards to pay dirt for the score. Eagles quarterback Leotis McKelvin can do nothing but simply say hey.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Matthew Stafford had a great game. 21 for 35, 223 yards. He did have the 2 interceptions, but when the game was on the line, he got the job done. That's why he's the MVP candidate.
And as such, it's only appropriate that after the game, he talked with our Spiro Ditas and Solomon Wilcots.
Matthew, you guys seem to like that 4th quarter drama. You make it interesting again. You find a way to win the game. Tell us what you thought and how you feel as you guys move to 9-4.
It's a great win. Offense, we turned the ball over twice. We can't do that, especially down there with points, and then we gave them points. Those 2 are on me. I got to make better throws, but total team win. You know, our defense did a great job stepping up late in the fourth, and we put together a drive and got in the end zone.
Take us inside of that beautiful mind after you throw the pick six. I can look in your eyes. You just wanted the ball back in your hands. You led your team down for that fourth quarter touchdown, taking it in. You ran that thing in. What was going through your mind on that drive?
You know, I was upset with myself for the play, you know, before the third down to Anquan. I got to give him a better ball. And you know, when you make a mistake, I just want the ball back so I can go out there and make it right. I didn't play as well as I can today, but guys around me picked me up, and I was able to get in there at the end of the game, help us get a touchdown.
How fun is this now, Matthew? You guys sit at 9-4, still atop the division with a pretty comfortable lead, but a very tough schedule coming up your last 3 weeks.
That's great. You know, obviously, anytime you win, it's a positive in this league. They never come easy, especially in the division. Chicago's a really good team, playing well on defense and offense. So we'll take any win we can get. We'll celebrate this and move on to the next one.
That's the kind of competitiveness and honesty you want to see from your team leader. Time now, folks, for Brilliance on the Field, presented by Kay Jewelers. And, of course, it's Lions quarterback Matthew Stafford.
You know, JB, I think it was more brilliance after the game in the post-game press.
And you know what? It's still looking as tight. Bill on the NFC side of the house as well, other than Dallas, of course, Coach.
Well, I mean, you look at this right now. Seattle is trailing Green Bay, but Detroit Lions, 9-4, still taking control of that. The Green Bay Packers, they're still right there trying to stay within that two-game margin, because remember, they meet in week 17. And then certainly the Giants play tonight, a big game against Dallas, and Tampa Bay is up early on New Orleans, and they played very well.
Another big win is the Washington Redskins came back and they beat the Philadelphia Eagles. And you know, when you think about the NFC East, you know, there's still going to be that game at the end of the year in Washington where the Giants go to visit them, because the Giants have a tough schedule. They have the Dallas Cowboys, they also have the Detroit Lions, and then they have the Philadelphia Eagles, and then they go to Washington. So there's a good chance that game could mean a wild card. And then, of course, in the North, when you take a look at this, the Lions, they have a very, very tough schedule. They got to go to the New York Giants next week, then at Dallas, and then Green Bay. That could be the toughest 3 games remaining on anybody's schedule in the NFL.
And Tony Gonzalez was pretty definitive about what he expected to happen in his crystal ball in the NFC North.
Well, you guys, it's no secret, I guess. You know, I'm hopping on that bandwagon over there in Green Bay.
You fall in love too.
Hopping on it. You've been on it.
You fall hard, Tone.
Green Bay, if you look at this, okay, right? Okay. You're looking at their remaining schedule, this tough game. If they can get past the Seattle Seahawks today, which is going to be a tough game. It's early, they are up, but it's going to be a long game. Their next toughest game, they have at home the Minnesota Vikings. And at the end of the year, that big game against the Detroit Lions, to me, that's going to be the deciding factor who's going to go to the playoffs.
But if Detroit wins one game, how can Green Bay catch them? If they win one more game, one of those 3 games, yeah, they're tough. But let me tell you, that's a soft 8-3 with the New York Giants. That's not a hard 8-3. I think they can go to the Meadowlands. They can take care of business.
Yeah, well,
Coach,
8-4. We will see.
I'll say this. I mean, listen, you don't want to face Aaron Rodgers and have it come down to that game. There's one thing that Detroit has right now is they have a 2-game cushion. They need to take care of business and not let it even get to week 17.
Yes, exactly.
And the one thing is the Detroit Lion defense. We talked about them in the pregame. They gave me up 10 points today. 7 of those 17 was a pick 6 that Matthew Stafford threw. This defense is flying around. I said it before, Terrell Austin, to me, the defensive coordinator, to me, should be one of the leading candidates for head coaching jobs that open up. This guy has done more with less than anybody in the National Football League.
Just one other team. You know, we're not talking about Minnesota. No. If they won today, so if they win out, they get to 10-6. So they are not out of it yet either.
Minnesota, Green Bay eliminate themselves. One of them.
Darius Slay, I respect you, Darius Slay. Talking with the head coach over here.
He did okay.
All right. The Subway post-game show. Continue.